The real problem that exists with this stock market is that people have become way too complacent, and us as people, we get conditioned to believe or expect certain things. You know, there was a certain euphoria about the stock market, which in my opinion, and my opinion means a lot because I've went through this before, all right? When I started to explore the landscape and explore YouTube as a conduit to speak with individuals. And trust me, guys, there's 10,200 people that I care most about in delivering this message. So I always put myself in the position of the new subscriber to the Independent Investor channel. And I take the responsibility very seriously in that I wish there was a lot more people talking about fundamental investing and entering into the stock market with caution, no matter what time you enter the stock market. And I know there's people out there that are plumb fed up with the performance in the stock market. This month has been interesting. We've just went through another interest rate hike, that of which, if you guys want to know my opinion on, I agreed with. Okay, there's lots of different schools of thought. I think the pace and the acceleration of the interest rates hikes has put a damper on the stock market, certainly. I think those two are interconnected. However, I do believe that we've been in kind of a manufactured environment, especially over the last 10 years, okay? So when you want to seek out some validation as to why you're doing what you're doing, it's very difficult to do. You know, there's a lot of people who've entered the stock market for the first time, and I know there's some people out there that are questioning why they're doing what they're doing. And I just hope to be kind of a voice of reason a little bit on offering my message through the Independent Investor channel, okay? And I don't come on YouTube every single day to talk about the general stock news, okay? I just don't do that. I don't see any value in it. Furthermore, I tend to not try to pretend with regard to analyzing why it is something is happening. Or you guys know that in the history of the channel, I really don't get so much into finding that perfect stock. All right, I've said this many times on the channel, and a lot of new investors think that that really is the nuts and bolts of investing, and it couldn't be further from the truth, especially if you're an ETF investor or an index fund investor, where a lot of the work is already done for you, okay? You're looking to take passive exposure to the stock market, and that's it. It's your barometer to the stock market, and that's really what I consider to be one of the very best entries to the market if you don't have a lot of experience. And for you guys that are entering the stock market for the first time, you're getting a rude awakening. But I just enjoy the topic so much. I've had this channel now for a couple of years, and throughout the course of the channel, I've offered some suggestions with regard to folks with portfolios over 500,000, at least to earmark where the market was at that particular time, okay? And I did that because it was my opinion, okay? I could have been completely wrong on my opinion. Turns out I wasn't. I pay very close attention to the stock market, guys, and I do that for me. The beauty of the Independent Investor channel is that I can share those perspectives with you guys, and I'm not going to be right all the time. There's going to be people in the community that are more right than I am. I'm going to be dead wrong sometimes. And I think a lot of the disease across YouTube is there's too many people talking in definitives. And this is one of the most important videos that I came out with. It's also one of my least popular videos. But when you're speaking along the lines of the stock market and trying to understand why certain things are happening, I feel like that's somewhat of a futile quest, okay? To try to get some sort of justification, whether or not Powell should have went one way or the other on the Fed interest hike. Trying to understand how selling can be so exacerbated at the end of the market every single day. Why? Why is this? Everybody wants a why. And you can tune into YouTube to get all kinds of different opinions as to why this is happening, okay? It frustrates me because as a new investor, what you really need to understand is what you're going to do about it, okay? When the stock market was at its all-time high, I wasn't giving advice that you shouldn't invest. I was actually saying the opposite. But what I did suggest is using scale, all right? Now, this isn't going to be an I told you so video, all right? What it's going to be is a re-emphasis of tried and true perspectives on the stock market that are not new. These philosophies and cycles of the stock market going through euphoria and then the sell-off and fear, it goes over and over and over again, and I've been doing this so long that it's amazing when we're in these identifiable phases in the stock market. It's not so much important to justify why it is. I know all the television outlets seemingly want to come on board and they really want to ride that momentum wave. And I think that's one of the biggest drawbacks to YouTube as well, is that it's very, very addicting to come on and offer daily content to people who are looking to also ride the wave and understand why certain things are happening in the stock market. And we just tend to take a different approach. I tend to advocate for folks out there that may never have the hope of becoming a millionaire. And I know there's a lot of people out there. I know there's a lot of people out there that would say, I want to be a millionaire and I'm going to do whatever I can get to get there, right? And you can tune into YouTube to find content like that, all right? And maybe you'll be lucky enough to follow along that path, all right? I don't take that approach. I don't. My feet are firmly grounded on the ground. If I end up making $1 million someday, so be it, okay? But that is not the sole intent of the message. I don't have a lot of editing on my videos. I get on, I talk to my community, that of which I care more about than any other audience on YouTube is the 10,200 subscribers that are loyal to the message and tune in for a little bit of re-emphasis on what it is we're doing and why, all right? Now, there are certain classes of investors right now that are really, really benefiting from the volatility in the stock market. Fund managers are one of them, all right? Now, you guys know that we take an opposite approach to the fund management cycle for a lot of fund managers, and one of the biggest ones out there is probably one of the ones that I despise the most. Now, I won't name names, but if you guys do a little bit of research, it's not that hard to find. They require a portfolio over $500,000 to be managed. They charge you 1.5 points to just manage your account. You sit back and think about that, guys, and you think about the, how upset you've been watching the stock market over the last couple months and questioning why you're doing it. What am I doing? Is this crazy? Is this natural? Why can't the stock market go up? You sit back for a second and you understand a little bit about how the financial institutions out there have actually tailored this game to be paid outside of whatever the stock market's doing. It can be going up, it can be going down. They're going to get paid their guaranteed management fees no matter what. And quite honestly, guys, it should irritate you. It should irritate you enough to go back to your roots. Got to go back to your roots, and you've got to understand why it was that you sought out investing on your own in the stock market, right? Why it was that you defined your financial goals. And I can tell you what, nothing over the last couple months should have affected your financial goals going forward, right? If the last couple months of volatility has done nothing for you, it's actually opened your eyes as to what the stock market can actually be capable of. Now, this is an anomaly, all right? This is the worst December since the Great Depression, all right? It's bad, all right? It's bad. And sometimes as an investor, you just have to sit back and acknowledge it's bad. What are you going to do about it? Stop asking why things are happening and assess what it is you've done in respect to your plan and what you're going to do about it going forward, all right? Now, I understand that my audience knows the cliches about not selling during a violent market, but it's worth re-emphasizing again. The purpose of this video is to strike up a direct conversation with the community of subscriber base that tune into the message. And here's the thing, guys, all right? I've been doing this a long time, so you're getting a perspective from somebody who has gone through these corrections before. Now, we are in a defined bear market, okay? Aside from meeting one criteria that I have in that it's prolonged, and this has been such a violent drop, really especially exacerbated toward the end of December here. It's been bad, and it's been accelerated, but I wouldn't deem it prolonged just yet, okay? But by sheer definition of being 20% off the top, right, we are in a bear market. Okay? Now, whether or not it lasts into next year will really solidify the correction phase of the bull market and perhaps even move us into a defined recession. Now, do I think that's going to happen? No. There are no economic indicators to suggest that we're going to be entering into a recession. Okay? What are your options at this point? Hold is always a prudent option, and more often than not, holding in the stock market and just forgetting about it is typically the most prudent advice. And that's honestly, if I was again in the position of somebody who's looking at this, questioning why, and the emotion starts to creep in, you tune into the message and hear me out, okay? There's probably not a whole lot of folks in the community that are down as much in their portfolio, but I'm actually going to be coming out with transparency and visibility on my portfolio and how it's been able to actually withstand this downturn in relative terms. And your guys are going to be amazed to know that we build these portfolios to be defensive in nature for this very reason. And these are the fundamentals that you want to pick up on. Perhaps maybe you've been overexposed to the stock market and you wish that you would have had more cash on the side. You will have plenty of opportunities, guys, to really evolve in your skills in being a participant in the stock market. But guys, I come on here for this delivery, you know, once or twice a week, and we do a live feed every Friday night and give you guys the opportunity to pulse in with me. And I've always said since the beginning, I will not be coming in here and putting on a show, all right? I do this at my disposal, and I do it for the sheer purpose of you guys benefiting from somebody that's in the trenches, all right? I actually do this stuff, all right? I'm actually invested in the stock market, all right? It would be just as easy to come on to YouTube and just talk about the stock market and be something that I'm not in way of, let's say, an analyst, okay? Or I put out a 30-minute video just analyzing one stock. Why? Why do that, right? It's the what do we do that's the important part about our mental makeup and how we deal with observing when the stock market is just downright terrible, all right? But it will not be the last time, all right? There's words going on right now, collapse, stock market crash, things of that nature. And it all alludes to our deep inner desire to tag a reason as to why the stock market's doing. And if you've tuned into this message to get my idea of why, I will not provide that. I won't. I'm more focused on what it is that we're going to do about it. And in some follow-up videos, we're going to talk about some of the moves that I've made with regard to emerging markets, all right? Solidify some of the fixed equity positions in my portfolio, operated to strengthen some of the gaps in the portfolio along the small cap sector side of the house as well. I've beefed up on some of my sector spider allocation as well, and I'm continuing to build cash. Look at all those things that I just earmarked for you guys, and we're going to be coming out with specifics. I'm going to be doing a transparency video on the portfolio as well, really showing you guys that it might not be as bad as you think that it is, all right? And just in closing, I really want to offer my sincere thanks to the audience. I cannot stress enough how important it is that if you're subscribing to this message, all right, it's a rare one, okay? I do seek out this message across YouTube, and it just amazes me how deficient YouTube across the financial landscape is in talking more so about what individual investors can do about the current situation as to always wanting to earmark it as a 2018-2019 stock market crash. They may be right, they may be completely wrong, all right? The point is it doesn't really matter. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in to the pulse of the end of the 2018 stock market. Things are getting extremely volatile right now, but I just wanted to offer this as a video to my subscriber base. All right, stay grounded, stay focused, all right? There are other things about life that are way more important than the stock market, and this too shall pass. It always does, all right? These things come and they go. The question is what it is you're going to do about it going forward. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the message, and good luck in your investment future.